Welcome, my lovelies. Welcome back. Welcome to another video. Paintbrush in hand already. So today's video was going to just be me showing you some little beautiful little pieces of artwork that I will have by the time you've seen this video. They will be on my website for sale in my shop. For those of you that would like to own one, and I was just going to show you them on video and let you know that they're in the shop. But I'm in the middle of working on doing stuff to them, and I thought I would make that part of the video as well. Why not? It just gives you a bit more something interesting to look at, perhaps. So yes, I'm literally in the middle of doing them, and I thought, I know, let's start videoing. So I'll bring the camera down and I'll show you sort of what I'm doing, and then I'm going to be all day working on this, so it will be edited into a short video for you guys. But yes, let's show you. What I will say is the artwork. They're miniature oil paintings, and they are. When John Boy and myself went to Cornwall in September, we had a beautiful day in St.Ives. It was a lovely sunny day, and it's the art capital of Cornwall, and absolutely beautiful place. Been there for many years, but in one we found a little art studio, and it was owned by a lady, an artist, who did her own work, sold her own work, and all different sizes, great big pieces of artwork, right down to these little miniatures. And I just fell in love with her work, and thought, what a good idea. I could buy a few of them and put them in my shop and sell them. She's actually, when we started talking to the couple, the husband and wife, they were setting things up in the shop, in the studio, and they were actually opening properly the following day. I think we were there on the Wednesday, which was my birthday, that's right, and they were actually opening officially the following day. So although she's has been an artist for some time, she obviously makes enough money now that they can open their own little gallery in amongst other galleries that were indoors in a little indoor area. So yes, they let us in, and we just got started talking. She learned about what I do. She was showing me the work that she's got on the small scale, and I thought, what a fantastic idea to bring some of it home. So I could only afford to buy 5 of her paintings, but they were all on. In fact, now I'll bring the camera down and I'll show you how I bought them originally, or I'll describe how I bought them originally and what I'm doing to them now. Okay. Okay, now I have 3 of them over here. I'll just show you them quickly at the moment. They're not finished, but I've cut wooden frames, and I've put the canvas on a wooden backing to make it nice and firm. But originally these are oil, by the way, very fine oil painting and beautifully painted and blended. I wish I could paint like this. But these are in progress at the moment, the framing. So I'm putting these in white. They're nice and fresh. They're all scenes of Cornwall, obviously. And I've got 3 like this. And originally the canvases were just around these thick bits of wood, so they're quite deep bits of wood and quite bulky. And here's the edges of the canvas where they were wrapped around the back of the paint, back of the wood, and they were all stapled in place. So the canvas was just stretched over this wood. So as you can imagine, they're quite thick really. Plus they made them stand out a bit because all the corners were all folded in on the back. So the whole canvas was quite thick and bulky on the back area of the paintings. But the paintings themselves, I think, are beautiful. So I've taken all the staples out and cut all the rough edges of the canvas that was tucked around the frames, and they're quite sort of primitive frames really, which doesn't matter because they weren't to be seen anyway, but they were just sort of put together quickly just to show the paintings really. So these are going to be a lot finer in detail the way they're framed. So I'm doing 3 like that. I'm in the middle of gluing. I'd already cut them, painted them, gluing them. I did all this yesterday and I'm now working on it again this morning. But like I say, I thought I'd let you see sort of what I'm up to before you see the finished item. These 2 paintings, there's a beautiful one there of St. Michael's Mount. It's a very famous little island with a castle on it on the just offshore from Cornwall, from the south of Cornwall, and its twin is Mont Saint Michel in France. But this is our English version of St. Michael's Mount. So with these ones, they didn't have the white canvas beyond that, so I couldn't put the border around here. So these ones I thought I would do, they're going to take a lot longer, but I've put them on a board backing, as you can see, so they're already fixed nice and firm. I've now cut a rectangular thinner piece of wood, but slightly bigger all around. I'm going to paint, I'm in the middle of painting white around the sides of this wood. I'll paint the back of this white as well around the edge, and then they'll glue on, but then they'll have an edge all around them. I'm then going to cut little bits of wood to put vertically and make a frame around it, so it's not actually touching the canvas. The reason I've got that idea, and I in my head, they're going to look super when they're done. So fingers crossed, as always. I always worry when I'm, as you know, when I'm working on stuff, that what I've got in my head, I just sort of worry all the time, little bit of anxiety until I get to the finished piece, and I can hopefully say, thankfully, that's what I had in my head. But the reason I'm doing these frames this way, a bit more special, is I'll move the camera up again, so I can so you can see me. Okay, so the reason I'm doing these other frames a bit more special is because basically some of the paintings we have indoors by our favourite artist of all time, Joe Armstrong. He's now a well-known artist in the UK and is becoming more well-known as time goes on. Him and his partner Anne, lovely Anne, we've met them a few times and been to their home down in Cornwall. They live in Carnan Downs, just outside Truro town centre. Lovely part of the world. And we hopefully will be visiting them in the spring if we manage to get down there in next year. But none of this was planned, by the way. I didn't, as always, I just start my videos. I have an idea of what I'm going to show you, but what I'm going to say is another story altogether. So I quite enjoy seeing where it goes. So yes, now I'm talking about one of my favourite artists, or John and me's favourite artist, Joe Armstrong. And now I'm mentioning Joe. Again, this wasn't planned, but I might as well let people know that he's got a sale on throughout November at his studio, which is where they live. He's got a lovely new studio, lovely I'm quite envious of it, where he works and creates his beautiful masterpieces. And throughout November, he's put messages on Instagram and Facebook and what have you. In fact, I'll letting people know to come along to the studio and see what they would like to buy. And he'll obviously do some deals for people and sell some of his artwork and clear some space for next year's work. I bet he's looking forward to that. As an artist, he will be. But he, I'm only saying that as well because I do know some of my subscribers and customers from my shop who have bought things do in fact live down in Devon, beautiful Devon, and Cornwall. So some of you that may be watching may actually live in the area. Because of that, I will now put a link to his website. He also, if you put his name on Facebook, you'll find it, and in Instagram also. So you'll see photos of his work. But his work is his favourite artist is Vincent van Gogh, and my favourite artist in the art world has always been Vincent van Gogh. I've always loved his work, and so we have been lucky enough to be able to buy a certain amount of artwork from Joe to have in our home. And I have to say, I don't ask John Boy, I'm sure he does, but I look at it every day because it's there walking around the house. And sometimes I just stop and look and find, you're always finding new bits and new colour. His work is very impasto, which is very thick oil paint. It's absolutely beautiful. The paint that he uses is so thick and it's just so rich, and the colours. Honestly, his work. The photos, like people say about my vases, the photos do not do them justice when they see them in real life. They're completely different. His work, his artwork, is exactly the same. Work that we've seen in photos of his, and now we own the art, is nothing like the photo at all. It's such a shame photos do a lot of damage, I think, to people's work. I'm sure it does. But yes, so if you're watching and you're near that area, then get in contact with him and obviously go along and have a look at his work, and you'll see what I mean. He recently did a piece of art of a certain place, and put it, showed, I could see a photograph of it, and I have literally fallen in love with it, so much so that each time I go to bed at night, since I've seen this photo, I obviously blew it up, copied it, and kept it on my phone. So every now and again I can just go into images and look at it and zoom in, and I keep moving around the painting. And honestly, the colours and the forms that he's produced, it makes me feel quite emotional looking at it all the time. And going to bed at night, I'm usually thinking about what I'm doing next in the workshop. And for the last few nights, all I can see is this painting. And I'm desperately hoping that this is an awful thing to say. I'm sure he won't hear me. I don't think he has time to watch my videos. But I'm hoping he doesn't sell it in time for me to save up to buy it. That's all. I know this video has gone completely off piste, but it's all to do with the same thing anyway. What I will do is I'll take you guys up to the house. It's a very dull day, so we'll have to put some lights on, and I'll just let you see a couple of the paintings that we own from the lovely Joe. But yes, one of them is because his favourite artist was Van Gogh. He did a copy of the Van Gogh flowers, and honestly, it looks like we own the real thing. Looking at the painting, it's fabulous. Anyway, so yes, so some of his artwork has been framed in this exact way, and I would like to emulate that on these little miniatures. That's basically what I wanted to say. But yes, I forgot. I realised Joe was doing this whole month of a sale to go to his studio. But even look at his stuff online just for the sake of looking at it. And I'm sure he ships anywhere. I can't speak for him because I haven't asked for him, but I'm sure that avail is a possibility. And to be honest, his work since I bought the first one of his, which was really quite some years ago now. I think John Boy and me had just got together, so it's probably about 12 years ago or something. And his work is going up in value all the time. And sadly, in about 100 years from now, the same as Vincent van Gogh, none of us will be here, and he won't be earning from it, but I'm sure his work will be valued in exactly the same way, because his work, when you look at it, is, I've seen Vincent van Gogh's work. I've been to his exhibition, or the exhibition of his work, some years ago in the summer exhibition in the Art Academy, and it was absolutely amazing. But when I remember looking at his work, it is so similar to Joe Armstrong. It's unbelievable. I'm sure he what's the word? Channels Vincent when he's throwing his paint about, but that looks like what he does. When you look at it close up, you don't know what it is. When you stand back, you realize it's a bush, a tree, water. Absolutely amazing. I'll shut up and show you his work and show you the frame that I'm hoping to emulate. About time too, I can hear someone saying. Okay, so with Up in the House, this is obviously one of Joe's. This is Charlestown down in Cornwall. They actually had some great big galleon ships in here, and we saw them some years ago, and they were there to be filming parts of Pirates of the Caribbean with Johnny Depp. I think that's who was in it. I can't remember now. But anyway, as you see it in a photo, and it looks to me fantastic, the colours of the sky, everything, the water. But when you actually get close to the work, and this is the frame, how I want to do the frame. So hopefully that's what I'll end up with. But look at the colours and the thickness of the paint. It's unbelievable. I mean, there's just tubes and tubes of paint gone onto this work, and it's absolutely amazing. But you look at that and the colours, and then you come out and see, oh look, it's a boat. Absolutely amazing. And the variation here he's done with the impasto work, which is all the very, very thick work, and then going into the sky areas, which is so fine and textured, almost like my stucco work that I did on the sides of the Italian hillside house. Very similar. But again, the colours, unbelievable. I'll show you a couple more of his paintings just for the... okay, this is one that we found in an antique shop once of in New York, Times Square. I just love it. But this is absolutely amazing. Again, in Cornwall, one of the beautiful beaches. And this is one of the bigger paintings. So the miniatures that I'm doing in scale wise would be like this on the wall in the house. By the way, our walls, we've painted the ceiling, but within the middle of, we're going to be wallpapering this winter. So that's why there's paint all over the walls. We don't usually live like that. But, I mean, look at the colour of the sand and the sea. When you see the work up close. It's so abstract. And just look, the colours. I mean, this is grass. How many colours are in this? And sand, absolutely beautiful. And this is the first one that I ever found of Joe's. a lovely little country walk with a gate going into a field, and it's going uphill there, and all the bluebells and everything. Absolutely beautiful. Again, I'll show you this close up. Look at that. That honestly, that astounds me looking at it that close. I can't help getting so emotional with his work. I so wish I can hopefully. I think the painting that I'm talking about is going in. He's going into one of his exhibitions very soon, and it sounds awful as I say, but I really hope he doesn't sell that one, because I know I will be able to get it, but not quite this moment. Anyway, okay, just one more. We have others, quite a few others, but I just wanted to show you because I mentioned the Vincent van Gogh painting that he did. This one was in his house when we went to visit himself and Anne a long time, quite a few years back now. And he hadn't got it for sale. It was just on the wall in their lounge. And I went up and looked at it, and it just made me cry because Vincent is my favourite artist in history. And to see this, it was like he'd come to life. And I was actually looking at his work. But to see Joe being able to create the same work is honestly astounding. Anyone who appreciates art would appreciate any of Joe's work. And I wake up to that, go to sleep at night, and it's facing our bed, so it's the last thing I see at night before the lights go out, and the first thing in the morning. I should say John Boy's the last thing and the first thing, but we're usually too busy reading. Anyway, you know what I mean. Now, it's late in the day, it's getting dark outside. Always nice that you can work into the evenings even when it's dark outside, and the daylight bulbs that we have in the workshop just stay the same light all the time. It's wonderful. So enough of my drivel. I've finished framing the artworks, the Cornish artworks, and as I said, or I can't remember if I said, but these are oil paintings, and they are all originals, complete originals, so they're not prints or copies or so that's a couple of scenes from one of the beaches, I think along St.Ives or sand dunes nearby. Colours are beautiful, absolutely beautiful. That's those two. I've bought two here, different views or different scenes from at St. Michael's Mount. There's one, and this is in the other size frame, so this is slightly bigger. But the frame with like I showed you, Joe's work, I've made the same frame at St. Michael's Mount. It's lovely with the water coming in here. When I saw them, I have to admit, I just wanted to buy them and keep them for myself, but that's not to be. I have to make a living. And this one is just off the coast of St.Ives, the capital, the art capital, and it's the painting the lady did. It's just in the distance there, of Godrevi Lighthouse. I will put that on the description, but the Godrevi Lighthouse, here we are, it was built in 1859, and there's lots, if you look it up online, along with St. Michael's Mount, Godrevi Lighthouse also has loads of information about it, really quite interesting actually, now I've started reading about it, and I found out, although I was told by the artist on the day I bought it, she'd mentioned it because it's quite famous, the author Virginia Woolf, she lived later life in St. Ives, and she was inspired by the Godrevy Lighthouse to write the novel To the Lighthouse. So it was based on inspiration from this actual lighthouse. I love all the stonework on the wall there going down to the sea. Really makes you want to walk down there. But anyway, yes, so these photos will be in my shop. Photos, paintings will be in my shop for sale as by the time you have looked at this video. Hopefully someone out there thinks one of them or a couple of them are really lovely and worth owning. But as I say, you will obviously have an original piece of artwork, just like Joe's artwork. I don't know why Joe came into this. Oh yes, it was because of the frame I wanted to do, and it made me think that we have frames like this in the house. So so anyway, I'm sure Joe won't mind. Anyway, so thank you very, very much for watching. As always, hope you are well and keeping warm. Now it's winter, although it's been quite mild here at the moment. Touch wood. There we are. And speak to you again soon. Okay, folks, take care, everybody, and speak to you again soon. Bye.